the super and spondacious Kubi Uyanga.
Thank you very kindly, our darling Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Motto. Sure, there's a word he used to describe me, which I can't remember, but it brought a smile to my face. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Good evening to our esteemed guests, both those on the call right now and those joining us on YouTube Live. Welcome to this very first meeting of Toastmasters Club in the month of May. Now, in Toastmasters, we come here to practice public speaking, practice leadership, and become better versions of ourselves. I welcome all of you, and before I give way to the man who is going to lead this assembly as the master of ceremonies in Toastmasters, we call that person the Toastmaster of the day. I'll have to share a short thought with you on the theme of the day, aim for the stars. Aim for the stars, and maybe you might reach the sky. This idiom is very simple, in meaning very simple. In execution, it means that for any difficult task, for anything, any point in life, we are better off if we put our aim far beyond the horizon, so that if we fall short of achieving that aim, we are still going to achieve something worthwhile. So what is it? In Toastmasters, the highest honor that can be received is that of a distinguished Toastmaster. So as a Toastmaster, if you decide that you want to become a distinguished Toastmaster, even if you do not become a distinguished Toastmaster at the end of this year, at least you must have finished a path, you might have sponsored a club, you might have mentored a Toastmaster or mentored a club. What are those? Actually laudable achievements, which are something that can be celebrated, even though you have fallen short of that ultimate aim, which you can always get, because it is a delay, not a denial. So that is my charge to each and every one of us today. In everything we do, in all spheres of life, wherever we find ourselves, let us always make our ambition to be large. Let us always make our aim to be very, very far, so that even if we do not meet that aim, we will definitely record an achievement. Thank you very much for listening. And before I step aside, I'm definitely going to introduce one who is a stellar and distinguished gentleman, the man who is going to be our master of ceremonies today, serving in the capacity of the Toastmaster of the day. This gentleman is the charter president of this club, the very first president that this club had since formation. He is also a past district director of the 94 of Toastmasters International, which covers all of West and Central Africa. Professionally, he is a consultant neurologist and also an executive brain coach. Please make very welcome this medical doctor and consummate gentleman who will serve as our Toastmaster of the day, the distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi Ayeshimoju.
Thank you very kindly, distinguished President Kubi Uyanga. And I say that not just because you are a distinguished Toastmaster, but you are a distinguished President. Hearty greetings to all those who've joined us from wherever they may be in the world at this moment to take part in this very promising meeting of Merry Toastmasters Club on this day. I'm particularly delighted to heartily welcome any guests who may be in our midst who not been Toastmasters but have chosen to join us at this meeting. And I'd like to assure you that joining this meeting is a very good investment of your time, a very wise investment of your time indeed. And I can tell you that Toastmasters in general is indeed an incomparable investment in anybody's life. For here, as you will experience, we do in practical terms a honing of our communication and leadership skills along 11 different paths from which you as an individual can choose whatever meets your need. And in doing this, we are aided by world-class material of proven value in such a positive environment that will make you progress faster than you could dream of. And this club meeting, like all club meetings, will actually exemplify this positive environment. And today, you can look forward to what I describe as an exhilarating, star-studded performance. We shall have the most interesting segment to start with of extemporaneous speeches, which we call table topics in Toastmasters. And please, I enjoin you to add to the fun by volunteering to speak, and we shall applaud you as you do so. Then there will be the educational segment for prepared speeches as well as a training. And thereafter, we shall move on to the segment at which we shall receive feedback, each and every one of us, on how we have fared in the course of the meeting, in what we call the evaluation segment. And thereafter, as is typical in Toastmasters, we shall move on to the period of awards for performance during the meeting to boost and encourage our efforts. And then we shall bring the meeting to a conclusion. In continuing this meeting, I have a role now of introducing to you all the gentleman who will be the chief evaluator of everything we shall be doing at this meeting, in the person of Toastmaster Nameti Akpan. Toastmaster Nameti Akpan is a lifelong learner and influential teacher who believes in the infiniteness of the human potential. He has a background in accounting, and what is more, he is committed to challenging dysfunctional mindsets. And he has a life philosophy, which is, everyone deserves a second chance. And so with a roaring applause, help me in welcoming to the virtual lectern, the chief evaluator for this meeting, Toastmaster Nameti Akpan.
Thank you. Sincere appreciation to you. I don't want to call you my co-pilot, but I think I'd love to use the word my senior co-pilot and mentor. It's such an honor to have the privilege of sitting beside you to pilot the affairs of this meeting meritoriously. Each time I come to Merit Toastmasters Club, I know that I am going to meet people who have shone in their Toastmasters journey, who have merited the awards that have been given to them and are still meriting more awards. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, thank you to Merit Toastmasters Club for having me here today. And I know and I trust, as usual, it is going to be an exciting flight with you today. My job today is very simple, and I will be in charge of introducing the other role players that will serve as the evaluation team for today's meeting. Permit me to start by introducing the man who is going to serve as our timer for today's meeting. Our timer for today's meeting is a gentleman that loves to read and study philosophy. He is actually a past Vice President Education of Tutors and Trainers Toastmasters Club, and his name is Distinguished Toastmasters and guests. I'd love to invite Francis to come up to the lectern and shed more light on his role. Toastmaster Francis. lectern is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator of Master Nameti. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My role today is to serve as the timer. And that simply means that I shall be timing all the proceedings of the meeting. As the
customer you're calling is busy. Please try again later. Customer you're calling is busy. Please try again later.
We have the extemporaneous speeches, we have the prepared speeches, and of course, we have the evaluation segment of the meeting. This is usually for 2 minutes, and the speaker is permitted to speak for at least 1 minute. And at the 1 minute mark, I shall be flashing my green card. 1 minute and 30 seconds, I shall flash the yellow card. And once it is 2 minutes, I shall flash the red card on my screen. The speaker has 30 seconds to round off the speech. While on the prepared speeches segment, we have 2 speakers, one icebreaker speech and the other a level 3 speech. The icebreaker speech is scheduled for 4 to 6 minutes. Once it is 4 minutes, I will flash the green card. 5 minutes, the yellow card, and exactly 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. The speaker has 30 seconds to round off the speech. And for the other speech, which is 5 to 7 minutes, once it is 5 minutes, the green card goes up. 6 minutes, the yellow card, and exactly 7 minutes, the red card will go up. The speaker equally has 30 seconds to round off the speech. And for the evaluation, which is usually for 2 to 3 minutes, once the evaluator has spoken for 2 minutes, I will raise the yellow, and the red will go up exactly 3 minutes. Please, let's pay prompt attention to the cards and, of course, to relinquish control when your time is up. Time is of essence. Let's make judicious use of it. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Excellent, excellent, excellent delivery of your role, Toastmaster Francis. You spoke like a mechanical engineer and you paid attention to details. Thank you very kindly. We shall now invite our R counter, a retired businesswoman. She is a doting grandmother and the incumbent treasurer, of Merit Toastmasters Club. I saw her on the call. Toastmaster Lucy Chima will be our counter for today's meeting. Toastmaster Lucy, please, the virtual lectern is yours.
General Evaluator, for your kind introduction. My role this evening is of an accountant. Who is an accountant? An accountant of the meeting is to listen attentively, words and sounds used as crush and posters. What are these posters? Well, but
sincere apologies. I think that network glitches have suddenly thrown our counter out of the room. Some kind of hiccup there. So I think we'll move on to invite, while waiting for her to log back in, invite our language evaluator, the immediate past president of PEC 10 Toastmasters Club. She's a consultant, a public and occupational health physician who revels in traveling, journaling, unraveling mysteries, and what's more, she has a knack for playing with words. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, let us make welcome Toastmaster Folusho Alamina, a language evaluator for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, GE. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be in Merry Toastmasters Club. Today, I will be your language evaluator, and my job is two-pronged. Firstly, I will introduce a new word aimed at expanding our vocabulary. As Toastmasters, we should be wordsmiths. All of us should be wordsmiths, and it's a learning journey. Secondly, I will comment on the use of language, proper and improper use. I would look out for captivating words, phrases, and literary devices. You would recall the renowned author Chinua Achebe once said, "Proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten." And so I took the liberty to extend that to say, literary devices are the gravy with which words are eaten. So I'll introduce the word of the day, today's word of the day to you, and that is sublime, meaning of great beauty and excellence. Synonyms include wonderful or inspiring. An example of a sentence using sublime is, Switzerland has sublime scenery. So as we aim for the stars today, I would really look out for well-crafted and sublime speeches. Thank you, and back to you, GE Toastmaster Akpan Nameti. Thank you.
Wow, what a very effortless way to subliminally introduce your role as the language evaluator for today's meeting. And trust me, I took the word two-pronged, and I took that proverb by Chinua Achebe. And I have palm oil here, which I will use to grease my language today. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, just before we invite back to the lectern our Toastmaster for the day, I'd love us to also welcome another powerful woman. Who is the immediate past president of Merry Toastmasters and has served with gusto as a director for Area 19. Each time I see her, I feel well. Distinguished Toastmaster, Moni Shola is the health and wellness consultant, and she is our quiz master for today's meeting. Distinguished Toastmaster Moni Shola, the virtual lectern is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that sublime introduction. Every good experience is sublime. Every good conversation starts with good listening. Today, I have the responsibility to test both mine and your listening skills. At the end of this meeting, I would have picked a number of sublime suggestions, which you must take away, and I shall ask one or two or three members of this meeting to kindly respond to my quiz, the general evaluator.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. Thank you very kindly, our quizmaster. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, there you go. You have the wonderful evaluation team, which I only have the honor to be part of. We will now segue into the next part of the meeting, and I have the honor once again to invite my senior co-pilot, my mentor, distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi Ayesimoju, the man with the golden voice. Sir, you have the virtual lectern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our general evaluator. If I may, I'd like to point out that I believe Toastmaster Lucy Chima is now with us. Would you like her to state our role.
Thank you. Thank you so kindly. My role this evening is that of an accounter. As an accountant, I have to listen attentively such words like filler words, pause fillers, and sounds. Pause fillers and sounds. I'm so sorry, I'm not coordinated right now. I've been having a lot of challenges with my phone, but let me gather myself. My role this evening is to notice sounds and words used as crutch of pause fillers. Such crutch words are A, M, U, and the pause fillers are, you know, well, but. These pause fillers are also used as, are known as interjections. I'm also going to let you know that repetition of phrases are not allowed, like I, and that is. At the end of this speech segments, while called upon to give my reports, I will let you know one by one who has carried the most sound, the general evaluator.
Thank you. Toastmaster Nameti Akwa, may I continue now?
Thank you very kindly, my co-pilot, for stepping in and showing that together teamwork works. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I think we should give a round of applause to our general evaluator and his entire team for the sublime work they've done so far. And now we come to a very interesting segment of our meeting, which I'm looking forward to. Is being very sublime indeed, and that is the segment at which we speak extemporaneously. So handle this segment, we have our own very sergeant-at-arms of Merit Toastmasters Club, Fumi Omotosho, today's topics master. And Fumi Omotosho is an entrepreneur as well as a behavioral coach. And she has a master's degree in business administration. She's someone I describe as being indefatigable, always able to take on whatever tasks she has to take on in the course of service to the club. Please, with a round of applause, help me welcome Toastmaster Fumi Omotosho to the virtual lecture.
Thank you very much, sir. The Toastmaster of the day, our father and mentor, DTM Abayomi Ayeshimoju, for that sublime introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, we are ready.
Table topic section is the most exciting section of the Toastmasters meeting. It is also the most challenging part because it helps you to think on your feet. It tests your impromptu skills, ability, and it also helps you to prepare for when you are called upon later on to speak without preparation. So I don't want to take too much of our time. I just want to encourage everyone because I'm going through the participants list now, and I'm going to be calling on 3 people to deliver table topics speeches to us. You have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. That is 1 hour, 30 minutes minimum, and 1 minute, 30 seconds minimum, and 2 minutes, 30 seconds maximum. Everyone is encouraged to please use the word of the day, sublime, in your presentation. And you may also have at the back of your mind today's theme, which is aim for the stars. I'd like to call on Toastmaster Abigail Okeke. Toastmaster Abigail Okeke, are you there?
Yes, let's look.
Toastmaster Abigail Okeke, please choose a number. I have 5 topics for you to choose from, 1 to 5. So just choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Toastmaster Abigail, where are you? Okay, so let's move on to someone else.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster Abigail. Please, can you pick a number from 1 to 5? And please put on your video. Let's see you, please. Kindly put on your video. Let's see you.
Good afternoon. I think the network is bad where I am.
Uh-oh. It's like she's off the call. Okay, she's still here.
I will pick number 2.
Okay, number 2. Please kindly put on your video so that we can see you. Okay, number 2 question. Toastmaster Abigail Okeke, tell us about a situation that happened recently or an event that you attended recently that you were called upon to speak. Tell us about a situation that happened recently or an event you attended recently where you were called upon to speak. Toastmaster Abigail. Hello.
Has she said anything yet? Maybe she's not there.
Well, I can still see her on the call, or she's off.
She's on the call.
She's on the call. I still see her on the call. Okay. Let's move on to someone else. Omolola. Omolola, please put on your video. Let's see you. Is Omolola there? Okay, Omolola, there you are. Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Omolola, please pick out of numbers 1, 2, 4, and 1, 3, 4, and 5. Number 2 is gone. 1, 3, 4, or 5.
4.
4. What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? What can you do today that you couldn't do a year ago? Your time starts now.
I'll say, okay, I'll say I can. I learned tailoring I started learning tailoring about 6 months ago, and I've gotten to a level where I believe that I couldn't I couldn't do I couldn't do that last year. So now I think I've gotten to a uh, uh, I've gotten to a point where I've improved generally.
Go on, you still have some time. You have a minimum of 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Well, I don't have anything much to say.
Thank you very much. Amalola, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for accepting the challenge to speak today. All right, next person, I would like to call on Roslyn Afolabi. Roslyn Afolabi, please put on your video, let's see you. Number 2 is gone, number 4 is gone, so I have number 1, 3, and 5. Roslyn Afolabi, are you there? Okay, so who is ready to aim for the stars? That is the theme of today's. Who is ready to aim for the stars? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? DTM Philobi, can you bail us out?
Yes.
You're welcome, sir. Please, it's table topic session. Please choose either number 1, 3, or 5.
Number 1.
Number 1, the anchor quote for today's meeting is, the starting point of achievements is desire. And it is a quote by Napoleon Hill. DTM Philobi, please tell us about the greatest achievement that you desire for your life. What is the greatest achievement that you desire for your life?
Thank you. Thank you. It is a common knowledge that there are 2 great days, or the greatest days in every person's life. The day we were born and the day we pass on. In between are all experiences. And so, as human beings, it behoves us to make the best out of those experiences, to ensure that we attract the best for our lives. What we call desires are the ability to express the inherent qualities endowed us by the Creator. The quality, one is the quality to attract. As human beings, we have the capacity to attract. In fact, to attract what we want to ourselves. And so, in order to attract what we want to ourselves, We must make sure that we align all we do in accordance with the will of the Almighty Father to fulfill the purpose of existence, which is to go back to paradise. And that is my ultimate goal. The table topics, man.
Thank you very much, sir, for beautifully delivering that speech. What a sublime delivery. Next person, I have just one more person.
By our table topics master,
Yes,
Abigail Okeke says she's back now.
Oh, Abigail Okeke. Let's give a round of applause. Please put on your video. Okay, she put that in the chat. All right.
In the chat.
Okay.
And
so
apologies from Rosina Folabi. Apologies from the chat.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Our sublime Toastmaster of the day. So Abigail Okeke, do you have your question? Please put on your camera. Let's see you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster Abigail. I can't see you yet. Where are you? Oh, there you are. There you are. Good afternoon.
I'm here now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So your question number
I'll pick number 5.
Oh, you want to pick another question now? Another number, okay. Toastmaster Abigail Okeke, are you holding on to something you should let go of? Maybe something that is affecting your productivity or relationship with your family or friends or preventing you from maximizing your potentialities. Tell us about it. Are you holding on to something you should let go of? Toastmaster Abigail Okeke.
Okay. Trying to think what I'm holding on to. Okay, so I think that sometimes sometimes I find it very, I can't see myself everywhere doing work. So sometimes when it's you know, how like to, and maybe my boss comes in and say, okay, you need to let go of this, right? And not at the end of the trying to help me, but I don't see it that way. But then I see it as, but that was then anyway. But I think I've grown from that. That is that's one part. Then another part is what's it called? Inability to communicate well. You know, I find it very difficult to and I'm not able to, you know, communicate well to the person. And it's usually an issue, it's usually a problem. I don't know if I'm in line with the topic, but then it's kind of tricky too. But okay.
You are in line with the topic. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abigail Okeke. Everybody, thank you for giving her a round of applause. Thank you very much, everyone. I want us to continue to speak and continue to prepare to be called upon to speak. The more we practice, the better we become. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for that sublime table topics section. Now, the timer, could you tell us how the speakers fared as far as time is concerned? You speak within the allotted time. Is anybody disqualified from voting on the basis of time?
None, sir. No speaker overshot. They are all qualified to be voted for.
So will the Zoom master please then let us have the voting, the voting score, so we can vote for the best table topic speaker. Wow. No, that is not correct, please. Rosemary Afolabi did not speak. Abigail spoke. In place of Afolabi, you should put distinguished Toastmaster
Philobi.
Philobi, please. Please change that. Kindly replace Roslyn Afolabi with Toastmaster Phil Obi. Is that possible? The Zoom master?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay, kindly let's do that, please.
Right, so perhaps we can move on. We can move on while that is going on, because the clock is ticking.
Well, yes, in that case, we have no choice but to go on and let me introduce the table topics evaluator, who will be evaluating the table topics session. And she's in the person of Josephine Agolo, who is an entrepreneur. She is the Sergeant at Arms of Lentor Toastmasters Club. And interestingly enough, Josephine loves shopping, and her best liked quotation is, "Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy." Put your hands together, please, as I welcome Josephine Agolo to the virtual lectern to evaluate the table topic section. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Please accept my deepest gratitude. Our delectable TMOD. I must say you look sublime. Thank you. Now, yes, it is said by Quint Miller, objective evaluations set the foundation that moves leaders to the tipping point. And I must say, a sublime tipping point. Jolly good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and of course, our esteemed guest. I will be providing sublime evaluations to the table topic section we just went through. I will begin with applauding our sublime table topic master, Toastmaster Fumi Omotosho. Your question leveled up the atmosphere and helped our speakers to break the ice, even if they didn't want to speak. And they were very easy and interesting questions, I must say. Most importantly, I like the randomization that you used to create curiosity in the minds of the speaker. I loved it, awesome. And what I like that you did again was that you ensure that you made our speakers to put on their videos just so we could see their beautiful and sublime faces. What would I like you to do better? I would like you to use a seasoned speaker or a tabletop, a Toastmaster to start the day so that the guest and every one of us will see how this is done. So speakers will not have problem with speaking because they already see how it is done. Our first speaker for today was Toastmaster Omolala. You quickly put on your mic. All right. You quickly put on the video, which shows that you were enthusiastic about speaking. Very great attempt. You also what? You try to use your body language. Body language helps us to articulate, to give more articulations and meanings to what we want to say. You were so ready to speak. You showed calmness. You also showed that you have confidence in speaking. What would I have loved you to do better? If you find it difficult to articulate your thoughts, what you would do is to repeat the question. It will afford you enough time to articulate your thoughts and be able to give the audience sublime speech. In all, I would say you have that in you, the confidence to speak. For you to immediately turn off the camera to speak shows that you have the confidence that is necessary for public speaking. And I will encourage you to keep on speaking. Well done. Our second speaker was distinguished Toastmaster Philip. As a seasoned speaker that you are, you just came like a pro. Your body language was top-notch. You were relaxed. You just gave us the speech as if you already know the questions, like you were prepared for it. That shows that you are a seasoned speaker. When I grow up, I would like to be like you. Your voice clarity was awesome. It was top-notch. I loved it. I could hear every sound of your voice. It is good, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it is good that when we are speaking, we should ensure that our voice is audible enough for people to hear what we are saying. And that also will show how articulating we are. I loved the call for action that we should try and learn from our experience. And with our experience, we'll be able to do what? To showcase ourselves. As you are learning, like as I am learning, you will now be able to showcase yourself. And that will do what? We open doors for you. And you said that your ultimate look out for is meeting the Almighty. Awesome. I loved your speech. It was absolutely sublime. Our last speaker, which was Toastmaster Okeke Abigail. Even if the network was trying not to make you shine today, to give us that sublime speech, you ended up giving us that sublime speech. You were ready to speak. You were smiling. You were enthusiastic about speaking. You used gestures so well. You stood up. It shows that you are confident, which is a very, very good quality of a public speaker. You have to show that you are confident about what you are speaking of. You were smiling. Your smiling was so contagious, very sublime. I was so endeared to looking at your screen. When we come, fellow Toastmasters and guests, when we come to the screen to speak or to the stage to speak, and we speak with so much smiles, the audience will want to listen to us. What would I have loved you to do better? Trying to understand your question. You could repeat the questions. It will give you enough time to understand your question and be able to articulate your thoughts and bring a sublime speech to the audience. In all of our speakers, they did awesomely well. Their speeches were sublime. They were confident. They were awesome. And I will say, the only room there is a room for improvement. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, our table topics evaluator, for that sublime evaluation. Now, I think that after the sublime experiences we've had in the table topics session of the meeting, we're now ready to move on to that part of the meeting dealing with prepared speeches. Today, as you will have seen on the program, we have 2 prepared speeches. And one of them is very critical, the very first speech, which is an icebreaker by Toastmaster Razak Odejayi. His very first speech at the beginning of the path he's pursuing in Toastmasters. And for every speech, there is an evaluator. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Toastmaster Kregesowode, that Toastmaster Sivaino is not in the house. I couldn't see his name.
Our father and mentor, it is self-evident that Toastmaster Sivaino is not available at this material point in time.
Thank you. And that makes you the evaluator of this speech. And if you just give me a minute, I'll say a few words about you before I then ask you to tell us about the objectives of this speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmaster Kregesowode is an English doctor, a communication coach, and a professional proofreader. He is at present the Vice President Education of our dear club, Merit Toastmasters Club, and the reigning District 94 Speech Evaluation Champion. And so, our champion, could you please tell us the objectives of the speech by Razak Odejayi, as I welcome you to the virtual lecture.
Ladies and gentlemen, as our father and mentor, distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi Ayeshimoju has eloquently mentioned, an icebreaker is the first project that a member completes after registration. What is the purpose of an icebreaker speech, you ask? The purpose is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn about the basic structure of a public speech. I wish Toastmaster Razak Odejayi all the best. Back to you, our father and mentor.
Thank you very much, champion. And before I ask Toastmaster Razak Odejayi to take the lectern, I'd like to say a few words about him. He is a graphic designer and a brand strategist. He helps people and businesses to achieve their goals through creative visual communications, branding, and marketing strategies. For his icebreaker, he has chosen the title, Your Passion, the Route to a Fulfilled Life. Your passion, the route to a fulfilled life. Please welcome Toastmaster Razak Odejayi as he breaks the ice.
How passionate are you about what you do? Thank you so kindly, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, for such a sublime introduction of me. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, good evening. Not a mansion, not a fancy car, not even a lot of money can guarantee you a fulfilled life. What that guarantees a fulfilled life, you may ask? Come with me on this journey to find out. My name is Razak Adebayo Odejayi. I'm a professional graphic designer and brand strategist. Of course, I didn't start out as a professional. I actually started as a little artist. When I was very young, I made a lot of drawings. I drew on almost every surface available at my disposal. Yet, as I grew older, I never aspired to become an artist or even practice any art-related work. Whenever I was asked what I would like to become, I remember I used to say, I want to become a doctor and travel to Belgium. I still don't know what gave me the impression that Belgium was lacking doctors. What I do know is that I love the sound of the word Belgium. It just somehow sounds appealing to me. Well, despite my creative little beginning, I went ahead to study transport planning and management. You can imagine. It is ironic how some of us study courses we are not passionate about. Some even go ahead to practice professions they don't like. And you realize that no matter how much money they make or how much material possessions they acquire, they are not fulfilled. My case was a little different. Even though I studied transport planning and management, which is not a bad course on its own, but I realized I love graphic design. And ever since I found out my passion, I never practiced anything other than design. Not only because I'm very good at it, but because it gave me the greater opportunity for impact. I realized that my long-term goal or my long-term dream of becoming a doctor was actually to diagnose dying businesses and prescribe solutions by which they can recover and thrive through compelling visual communication. Ladies and gentlemen, for 15 years, I've been impacting the world with what I love doing. Design gives me joy. I'm living my dream. I'm fulfilled. Yet, I don't own a mansion. No fancy cars. I don't even have $1 million in the bank. But my passion for design has brought me so far. I was able to sponsor my education, got job deals executed, got married to the love of my life, a very beautiful lady at that. I'm currently raising 2 kids. More interestingly enough, just recently I got rewarded with an award of excellent service. Oh, what else could I ask for? Who knows what else my passion for design will give me? Who knows where my passion is taking me? Maybe not Belgium. But anything more is just a plus. I feel fulfilled already. In design, I found my fulfillment. So rather than become an unhappy medical doctor living in Belgium, I chose to become a happy design doctor in Nigeria? Are you really happy doing what you do? Are you fulfilled? Mark Anthony, the American musician, said, and I quote, if you really want to, if you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. Of course, that is not to say you will sleep all day long. What it means is that if you follow your passion and do what you love, your work will never seem like work. Dear listeners, ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to live a fulfilled life, I urge you not to work just for money or for the acquisition of material possessions. Rather, think deeply of what you are passionate about and creatively monetize it. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adejayi. Wow. I could feel the sublimity you must have experienced in your life because of following your path, following your passion. Beautiful. Congratulations for shattering the ice. Now, very quickly, we shall move on to the second speech by way of prepared speech that we have. And that speech is from the Presentation Mastery Path, Level 3, Elective 2. The speech is going to be given by Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele. I shall be introducing him later, but before then, please let me call upon our president, who has already been introduced today, to please tell us about the objectives of this speech. I'm talking about distinguished Toastmaster Kubi Uyanga, the evaluator of the speech.
All right, thank you for giving the Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi Ayeshimoju. Ladies and gentlemen, the speech that will be given by Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele is that which is an elective speech, the second project from level 3 of the Presentation Mastery Pathway. And it is titled, the project is titled, Connect with Your Audience. The purpose of this speech is to help the member to practice the skills that are necessary for him to connect with an unfamiliar audience. And for practicality purposes, in today's meeting, he shall give a speech on a topic which is unfamiliar to this audience, because practically we all know him and his sublime speeches that he gives. So to give that impression of an unfamiliar audience, he shall give a speech on a topic which is unfamiliar to this audience. And he has 5 to 7 minutes to deliver his sublime presentation. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President, for enlightening us about the purpose of the speech to be given by Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele, the second speaker. Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele is a motivational coach and an educational consultant. He is the charter president of Tutors and Trainers Toastmasters Club. Besides, he is the program quality director for Division K and a member of Business School Netherlands Toastmasters Club. Nelson is the 2018 Division K Humorous Speaking Champion. And he's going to be speaking on the topic, how to rewire your brain. How to rewire your brain. Looking forward to this to use for myself. May I invite Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele to the virtual lecture. Please join me.
Thank you Thank you most graciously, our distinguished Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Aye Shimoju, fellow Toastmasters, and our highly esteemed guests in the house. Will you believe it if I tell you that your brain is the biggest capital of your life? And that capital is what can take you from where you are to the most sublime level of desire that you can ever think of. I would like to let you into the world of neuroplasticity. I'm very glad that our Toastmaster of the day will be familiar, is the only learned person in the house here that may be familiar with what I will be talking about. But for the rest of us, I want you to know that it is not a topic that you cannot grasp and benefit from if you follow carefully my simple analysis of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity has to do with the way that your brain grows and expands, which shows that your brain is not fixed at any point in time. We've had some mythologies telling us about you grow up to a point, and once you get to an age, then your brain stops growing and you cannot do anything again about your brain or about your life thereafter. I have good news for you. And the good news is that your brain grows every day from the womb to the tomb. That is how some neuroplastic scientists put it, that your brain grows from the womb to the tomb. So which means that immediately you are born, your brain starts growing. And neuroscientists have made us to realize up till this moment that there are approximately 86 billion neurons interconnected in your brain by more than 100 trillion synapses by which your brain is coordinated. You may not understand these terms, but what I would like you to understand is, for those of us who uses automobiles, when you open the engine of your automobile, especially if your automobile is an electric car, it is an automatic car, you'll find out that most of the devices of the car are wired and they are electronically controlled. Most times when such vehicles develop faults, you don't call auto mechanics, as it is usually the case when you use a manual vehicle. The first person you call is, in the Nigerian parlance, we call them rewire. You say, please, my key starting is having an issue. My car, the lightning has just gone off. Please help me get a rewire. And the rewire professionally is the one that you should have referred to as electrical auto mechanic, but we know them as rewire here. So the rewire will come, join the wires together, and before you know it, as it joins the wires together, your vehicle will just come back to life and will start working. I'd like you to know That is exactly the way your brain is. Your brain can be rewired if your life is not going exactly the way you want it to go, or you are not having the experience you really want to have. You can rewire your brain. Your brain is not fixed, it grows. And there are two aspects to neuroplasticity. The first aspect is the one we call neurogenesis, which shows that there is a growth of new neurons all the time happening upstairs in your brain. The second one is what we call synaptogenesis, which means that there are new connections between these neurons from time to time. And it is these neurons that determines your behavior, that determines your thought process, and that determines how you achieve in life. I said earlier on that your brain is your biggest capital in life. And when you want to really rewire your brain, it is not rocket science. This is where I want to give you the most sublime advantage of listening to this speech, despite the fact that you are not a neuroscientist. It's not rocket science for you to rewire your brain. All you need to do when you want to rewire your brain is just to start doing new things that will challenge your brain, new things that you have not been used to doing before, new things that will juggle up your brain, that will catch the brain and will create a new neural pathway that will take you from the level you are right now to a sublime level that you really need to be. And there are a few of such things that you need to do. Very simple. Learn to pick a new language, and you discover that there is a part in your brain that is called the hippocampus that will begin to grow and develop. And by learning that new language, you will become a problem solver, because once that hippocampus grows and create a new neural pathway, your brain will not remain the same. Your brain will expand. And once your brain expands, you'll be able to solve more problems. Another is music, learning music. Another is going into puzzles. You also have doing artwork. When you are engaged in all these, you are helping yourself to grow your brain. And the more you use your brain in this direction and grow the brain, the more brain you will have to use. Let us embrace this concept and let us know that our brain is not fixed, it can change, and when it changes, it can get us the most sublime result that we need in life. The Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele, for a sublime speech indeed. At this stage, I'd like to call on the time master to please tell us how the speakers fared as far as time is concerned. Did they speak within the allotted time? Is there any disqualification?
No disqualification. They are no disqualification. DTM, they are qualified to be voted for.
Thank you very much. In that case, kindly let the Zoom master make it possible for us to vote. Could you put on the voting chart or form or whatever it's called? Is that coming?
So perhaps we have to move on.
Okay, we seem to be having challenges with that. Okay, in that case, I will, at this stage, have to hand over to the general evaluator of the day. So please conduct the evaluation segment of the just concluded prepared speeches. General evaluator, please.
Our father mentor, please. The educational minutes. The educational minutes before the general evaluation.
Yes. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. That's by you. Thank you. Well, it makes it easier because I've already introduced you as the minute master, educational minute master of the day. You'll be kind enough to take us through the educational minutes.
It has been said that if one picture can paint 1,000 words, one rhetorical device can paint 1,000 pictures. What does that mean, you ask? Well, it means that one rhetorical device is manifestly tantamount to 1,000 pictures. The Toastmaster of the day, thank you very kindly for relinquishing control. Have you heard about a rhetorical device known as hyperphora, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you ask, what is hyperphora? Hyperphora is a type of rhetorical question wherein a speaker or a writer will ask a question and immediately provide an answer to it. That is the definition of hyperphora. Is hyperphora and rhetorical question synonymous? Definitely not. They are not synonymous concepts. What then is the difference, you ask? The difference is that for hyperphora, the speaker or the writer would provide the answer with immediate effects. For a rhetorical question, the speaker or writer will not provide the answer because the answer, as often as not, is obvious. For instance, don't you want to be successful? The answer is obviously or evidently yes. Let's take a few examples to deepen our insight regarding this sublime figurative device or literary element. In 1963, Sir Martin Luther King delivered a speech. I have a dream. And in that speech, Martin Luther King used a particular hyperphora to connect his idea. When he said, there are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as a Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. Here, Martin Luther King eloquently utilized hyperphora to state in eloquent terms his stance about civil rights in those years. How about Sir Winston Churchill, a masterful orator? He said, you ask, what is our policy? We say it is to wage war by sea, by land, and air, with all our might and with all our strength. He used hyperphora in his speech delivered to the House of Commons in 1940. What are the benefits of hyperphora, you ask? The benefits are: one, it creates a dialogue in the speech which adds variation to your vocal delivery. It creates engagement. It creates curiosity. This is why we use hyperphora in our speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you that in your next speech, please use hyperphora to garnish your message, pepper your logic, and sprinkle your sentence structures. Would that made your speech sublime? Definitely. Back to you, our father and mentor.
Thank you very much. That was very enlightening. Really appreciate it. So we'll quickly go to the general evaluator now and have him take us through the evaluation of the prepared speeches.
Thank you very kindly, distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi, the Toastmaster of the day. I am enjoying myself totally. I don't know about you, but I'd just love to ask that we still go into the next session immediately. And in doing that, I would invite the first evaluator, the man who evaluated the first speaker for today, and that man is Toastmaster Craig Eshowade, the English doctor, already introduced.
I learned something of paramount significance from that speech, the quotation by Mark Antony. If you do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. Thank you very kindly, Razak, for the beauty of your message. You excelled at a splendiferous hook. Your opening was captivating. After the introduction, I realized that you paused for 3 seconds before you uttered your first words. How passionate are you about what you do? What can we learn from this, ladies and gentlemen? When we pause before we delve into the opening gambit of our speech, it helps to give impact, strength to our opening lines. And that is the beauty of pausing before delving into the opening gambit of our speech. Secondly, you excel at self-introduction, which is one of the objectives of the speech, to introduce yourself to the club. I learned from the speech that when you were much younger, you dreamt about becoming a doctor and you were obsessed about Belgium. You studied transport planning and management. And at the moment, you are a graphic designer. So you excelled at that. And what I helped to achieve that, you became more accessible or approachable, in my view. So well done for that. My only recommendation is for you to pay a little attention to the TH sounds. I realized that while you were speaking, you stumbled on the TH sounds, and I used to stumble on the TH sounds as well. For example, when you said, come with me, that ought to have been come with me. Anything could have been anything, and rather could have been rather. I feel that if you can pay a little attention to this aspect of your speaking toolbox, that will enhance or heighten your credibility as a speaker. What is the best part of the speech, Razak? Oh, the eloquence of your lexicon, the brilliance of your vocabulary. For instance, I was enthralled when you said diagnose dying businesses. You equally said compelling visual communication. I love it when you said design doctor. This was a splendiferous use of a rhetorical device known as consecutive alliteration. And what is the use? It helps to drive our ideas deeper into the hearts and minds of our audience members. In summation, you excelled at the hook of your speech, which is the opening. You excelled at self-introduction. My recommendation, pay a little attention to the TH sound. And the most resounding portion of your speech was the eloquence of your lexicon. Toastmaster Razak, I see a champion in you. Please continue to fly. Back to you, the general evaluator.
Thank you. Very brilliant delivery there by the English doctor. I almost thought that time was not moving because you said almost a million things in just 2 to 3 minutes. So much content in so little time. maximizing your time there. Thank you very much. Great takeaways from education session. And to handle the next evaluation is our president, my brother and my friend. And he will be taking evaluation of the speech by Toastmaster Nelson Ayodele. Toastmaster QB Uyanga, distinguished Toastmaster, please, the lectern is yours, sir.
Thank you for your invitation to evaluate, General Evaluator. I'm much obliged. Ladies and gentlemen, my marks in evaluation will go generally at the general conventions of an effective speech, and then I'll make some notes on specific things I looked out for when a speaker is trying to connect with an unfamiliar audience. I greatly love the way that Dr. Nelson Ayodele started his speech with a sentence that went this way: can you believe that your brain is the biggest capital of your world, and which will grant you sublime, something in that nature? That was a very creative use of metaphor to demystify plasticity to a lay audience, because it was easier for us to understand the brain as the capital. And of course, from our understanding of capitals, that's where the nerve center, where the administrative center of everything is. And that was very well done. I loved his use of various rhetorical devices to improve the interest level in the speech. He said something in the line, your brain grows from the womb to the tongue. That was a rhyme well used. Vocal variety, he checked that, well done. Body language, he checked that too, well done. And I commend his witticism, which was very, very clever, because he didn't joke, but rather he was witty. A joke would have been a little too far for a speech as serious as this, but the witticism made the speech to be less serious and more easily palatable. I'll make some comments on speaking to an unfamiliar audience. Now, there are certain techniques or strategies that speakers use to get unfamiliar audiences to warm up. And I would have loved to see those things being enacted in the course of Dr. Nelson Ayodele's speech. For example, if a speaker arrives early and engages in small talk before the meeting is called to order, by the time the meeting is called to order and they are invited, they would not be speaking to strangers, rather there would be a number of friends, those people he had engaged with before the meeting was called to order in the audience. That will make things simpler for him, and they'll of course be more receptive of his message. Also, in speaking to an unfamiliar audience, it's advisable to add bits of soul revelation, because the more the audience know about you, the more they care about what you have to say. And this can be done using personal stories and maybe direct statements. And the last thing is audience engagement through rhetorical devices and audience activities. I would have loved to see this in the speech. But aside from that, I love the fact that this speech contained direct benefits of what he was talking about. And he advised us to do new things, maybe learn a new language, a new musical instrument, so that we can expand our hippocampus and of course, consequently, our ability to solve problems. And I love the way he pressed his call to action, that when you use your brain more, you have more brain. Very well done, and kudos to you, Dr. Nelson Ayodele. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Wonderful evaluation, very tactfully done and with panache. Thank you very much, our President, Toastmaster QB Uyanga. Distinguished Toastmasters and guests, I would like to invite the man who was timing the evaluators, Toastmaster Francis. Please confirm the time that these evaluators used for their evaluations. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am on the call, Mr. General Evaluator. The first evaluator, that's Toastmaster Craig Isowode, he evaluated for 2 minutes, 45 seconds, while the president of the club evaluated for 3 minutes, 30 seconds. They both qualified to be voted for.
Thank you. The president hits the mark perfectly. I'd like to invite the Zoom master to launch the poll so that we can vote for the best, for the better evaluator.
Mr. General Evaluator, I shall be launching all from the beginning of the meeting so permit me to do so.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine.
So we have the polls from the table topics. So if you can see, please, it's just a way to jog your memory back and consider who is the best speaker when this session was done. Please vote. Seven. That is done. For the best speaker vote, please, you have to vote. Done. Last but not least, this goes up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. General, over to you now, sir.
Thank you, Zoom Master. That was professionally done. So I would go ahead to invite our counter, Toastmaster Lucy Chima, who is standing by to give her evaluation report, our counter report. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am back to the lesson to give you my sublime accountant's reports. For the table topic, Omalala had 3 hours. Abigail Okeke had whooping 6. The table topic evaluator, Josephine Agolo, had 1. That is all I have to give you as my report. The general evaluator.
That was straight to the point and very succinct. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Lucy Chima. I'm so happy at the energy with which you bring to that role. So another member of the evaluation team who is also standing by is our grammarian or language evaluator, Toastmaster Folusho Alamina. Lecture is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nameti. I'll now give my language evaluation report. Before then, I would like to ask for an applause for everyone for great use of the word of the day. Please oblige me. Wonderful. This has indeed been a sublime meeting. There were loads of sublime moments, sublime speeches, and of course, sublime evaluations. Very quickly, I would like to say that the word of the day was used by every speaker, but by far the highest use would go to our father and mentor, Toastmaster Abayomi, who even took it a notch higher and he used it differently. He said sublimity. So I want to commend him for that. But well done, everyone. You all used the word sublime thoroughly. I can only ask that it doesn't end in this meeting. Let the lifespan go beyond today, into the week, and of course, every other day. I'd like to highlight quite a few catchy phrases or captivating clauses. The word exhilarating was used by our Toastmaster of the day. Two-pronged was used by the language evaluator. Randomization of table topics. It's a simple word, but I like the usage, and that was by Toastmaster Josephine. As our icebreaker speaker used a tricolor. He said, not a mansion, not a fancy car, and not a lot of money. I thought that was good. So tricolor typically is a series of 3 parallel words, phrases, or clauses, and it's used for emphasis. I think there's a magic about 3, the number 3. It's difficult to forget. So a tricolor is also called a triad. Other interesting phrases I heard by Toastmaster Razak. He said, he diagnoses businesses and prescribes solutions. I thought that was good as well. A metaphor was used. I think that was touched on by the earlier evaluator, but I can't help it. I have to mention it again. Toastmaster Nelson, he said, your brain is your biggest capital in life. Great use of metaphor there. And then, of course, womb tum. That also caught my attention. Toastmaster Craig said, one picture can paint 1,000 words, and a rhetorical device can paint 1,000 pictures. I thought that was powerful as well. And then, of course, the eloquence of your lexicon, that was rich use of vocabulary as well. I'd like to mention a few thoughts I have on pronunciation and improper use of some words and terms. A speaker said, it is a common knowledge. He should rather say it is common knowledge. The word is evaluation, not evaluation. A speaker used the word articulation with an S. It should be articulation, not articulations. And then I heard the phrase, your smiling was contagious. It should be your smile was contagious. And then of course the bit around the T and the TH. I heard anything other than, rather than anything. And thank you should replace thank you. Then the word is diagnose, not diagonalize. And finally, I heard a phrase, more interestingly enough. We could do with just the word interestingly. That would make for word economy and take out the redundant words. And then the word is listeners, not listeners. It's a silent T there. All in all, I must commend the entire team and all participants for making great use of the word sublime. I believe we will not forget. And this has truly been a sublime meeting. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you very much. And back to you, the GE Toastmaster, Nameti.
Sounding round of applause for Toastmaster for Lucio Alabina. What an educational session. Thank you very kindly, language evaluator. You have excellent skills, excellent active listening skills, rather. Thank you for that wonderful session. So the next session will be the one to be handled by a quiz master, DTM Monishola IES module. I know you're ready. Take the lecture.
The general evaluator, thank you so much for welcoming me to the lecture to share my sublime experience from little lessons to the greater ones that I would love us to take away. The first of on my list will be for someone to let us know the person who has just learned a new skill and what was that skill? Anybody? To save time? Somebody just learned a new skill and she mentioned to us what that skill is. Can I help with you?
Tailoring. She said tailoring.
Tailoring, thank you. And Biomolola.
Yes, Biomolola.
Thank you. So next is who is ready to aim for some kind of prize. The table topics master mentioned that. She wondered who it was, the theme for her table topics. Who it is who is ready to aim for the stars. What is the starting point for all achievements, Toastmasters and guests? We also know that. Yes, I want us to take that away with us because we must have many things. And closing the admonition from the Toastmaster, Fumi Omotosho, was something on the more you dash, the better you become. What was it? Simple. When you want to become better at anything, the more you
practice.
The more you practice.
Practice. You need to go away with that sublime feeling if you want to become better. And quickly, the grammarian is going to catch me. Evaluator, the table topics evaluator said, objective evaluation does something to us. What does it do to us? Moves us from what? Ordinary speakers to tipping points, objective evaluations. And somebody mentioned this, but I need to repeat it. Your passion is what? It's a route to. Your passion is a route to your fulfillment in life. And please don't forget, the neuroscientist said to us, how do you rewire your brain? Can somebody quickly say that so I say bye-bye?
Something new. Something new. Something new.
Thank you. Excellent. Well done, everybody. Applause. General evaluator.
Thank you very kindly, distinguished Master Moni Shola. I know that we paid attention and we were all aiming for the stars today. So thank you for reminding us of the takeaways for this meeting in such a brilliant way. Great, so my report, I think I'll have to do that before I hand over to the Toastmaster of the day. First of all, I'd like to say that this meeting was filled with a lot of takeaways. Everyone who came to the meeting and played a role left something behind, either in the quality of the role play or in the content of that information contained. So I'd love to start with the person that opened the meeting, Toastmaster Fumi Omotosho. The verve, the enthusiasm, the energy with which you brought to the role of the sergeant at arms made me feel excited about the meeting. That was powerfully done. Then the Toastmaster of the day, I want to say that you have a therapeutic presence. There's a calm with which you brought to your role. And it comes also with the quality of your voice. Each time I heard your voice, I was relaxed. The language evaluator, you performed your role like a professional. I don't know if such a role exists, a professional language evaluator, but trust me, you did that with so much professionalism. They were great takeaways. The two speakers for today showed that they prepared for the meeting in their delivery and their confidence. You could feel the content and quality that they brought to the meeting today. Each time we attend a Toastmasters meeting, the prepared speeches give us something to take away. And today was not different. Well done, Toastmaster Dr. Nelson and Toastmaster Rasak. Well done. I love the preparation that built up to this meeting by the VPE. He followed up, called me earlier on, sent everything I needed for the meeting. And I want to say, Vice President Education, that shows that you're committed to your work and you're committed to the core values of Toastmasters International. Safe space, feel nurturing and allow your feelings to be what they are. As the meeting progressed, Toastmaster Lucy Chima expressed her feelings about how she felt while playing her role. For me, I thought that was being vulnerable. And to tell us this is how you feel right in a Toastmasters meeting shows that that meeting environment is safe. And it went ahead to emphasize the motto of Merit Toastmasters, which is all for one, one for all. And the Toastmaster of the day also exemplified that when the GE forgot to call the R counter back. Simply, he said, GE, I think the R counter is back in the room. So it felt like someone was watching our backs. Someone was looking out for us. Well done, Toastmaster of the day. Three things I think I would love us to work on. First of all, our participation on the chat box. I'd like to commend Toastmaster, the table topics evaluator. I think I can get her name now. She had sent more than 7 to 10. Josephina Golo, thank you. All through the meeting, she was leaving a message on the chat box. And for me, I think the beauty of Toastmasters meeting is even while you're listening to the speeches, you're also giving feedback on the spot, like spontaneous feedback that gives energy and verve to the meeting. Well done, Toastmaster Josephine. And need I mention that the table topics evaluation that came from you today was very empowering. I said here, your confidence, your delivery, and your passion was palpable. And then I could feel the stars subliminally shining through your evaluation, which reflected the quality and the theme of this meeting. Well done, Toastmaster Josephine. Another recommendation is the fact that we might want to keep our videos on. Throughout the meeting, out of 23, 7 people or 8 had their videos constantly on. I love to commend everyone who had their videos on throughout the meeting. Why people feel that these meetings are boring is sometimes because the videos are not on. Probably you might want to leave a picture of you so that when we see you smile, we know that we are with real people. Above this meeting was well prepared, the quality was superb, the content was enriching, the transitions were smooth, and we actually end for the stars. Thank you very much. And that's my general evaluation report. I'd love to hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, our grandfather, said father, but not to call him grandfather, Toastmaster Abayomi Ayesimoju. Thank you, sir. Please, sir, you're muted. I have your back now.
Thank you. Yes, I was just thanking you for another sublime segment of the meeting. And that takes us to an exciting segment of the meeting, which is to do with the awards for today. We've all voted for Best Table Topic Speaker, Best Prepared Speech Speaker, Best Evaluator. Now, I'd like the master to please, rather the trophy master, so please let us know who is going home with what. The trophy master, please.
Thank you very much, the Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, I'm the only INEC official who is qualified to count the ballots and, of course, deliver results at the end of meetings. We have voted and I have counted. First award, as the Table Topics Award, goes to Toastmaster Phil Obi. Please, let's put our hands together for Toastmaster Phil Obi. Equally, we equally voted for the best speaker, and the Toastmaster who clinched that position is none other than Razak Odejai. Congratulations, Razak Odejai. And for the evaluation segment, we voted, and the president of that space is none other than Toastmaster Craig Esowode. Toastmaster Craig, the VPE, congratulations. And that's it from me. Over to you, DTM Abayomi.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all those who are going home with certificates. And congratulations to all those who've played roles today, whether as speakers or as evaluators or whatever role you've played today. Is congratulations to all of you. I must say that I've experienced several sublime moments in the course of this meeting, and I hope you all have. I also hope that you take some time to look at the chat box, because it is all part of this meeting. I took a look at it and I found it inspiring and very rich. I will encourage you all to do that. If you haven't done so now, in future, pay attention to what is going on in the chat box. And having said that, what I'd like to do now is simply to ask back the president of our club to bring this meeting to a conclusion and give us whatever announcements he may have. So our distinguished president, as I now like to call him, Kubi Uyanga, please take the virtual lecture.
Thank you very much. Our sublime Toastmaster of the day. I want to thank all the meeting players, Toastmaster Kolusho Alamina, our general evaluator, Toastmaster Namiti, and all the role players, including our sublime table topics master, Toastmaster Lucy Chima, our accountant, Toastmaster Josephine Agolo, our table topics evaluator, everyone that joined hands to give us the sublime meeting today. We have a boatload of thanks and gratitude to share with you. I'd like to also thank all the guests that we have on the call. Please do not run off after the meeting has been adjourned, but stay and you have an opportunity to share a few words. And all our guests joining us online, watching the live stream, thank you for joining us today. Just to let you know that we will have a second meeting this month, and it comes up on the 26th of May. That's the second Thursday in the month of May. But before that, there is the District 94 conference, which shall hold from the 18th of this month to the 21st of this month in Sali, Senegal. I'm sure those that have already planned to go have concluded their plans, but for those who might not be going to Senegal, rest assured that you'll be able to follow some part of the activities, especially the contest which will be online, and all of us shall join in to witness those contests. Besides that, all I have to say is a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. And I have control. I'll hand control over to our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmasters, to invite the guests to give a few remarks. But before that, I'd like to move a motion to adjourn this meeting until the 26th of May, 2022. Who would like to second that motion, please?
I second the motion. This year, Shimoju.
Thank you so much for seconding the motion, Mr. President. The meeting hereby stands closed. Oh, hold on.
The business meeting, we have a business meeting for the Mary Toastmasters alone, where the others will have left.
That's very true. That's very true. Thank you for the guidance, Mr. President. So at this point, I want to thank all the guests for joining our meeting. And I'd like to very, very respectfully ask that all the guests please excuse us as we are holding a business meeting, and only the masters for members of Merit Masters are going to be part of the business meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this supply meeting.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
We shall miss you.
Thank you. I'll come back. Thank you, man.
Thank you, everyone.
Now it's time for business. So, Deja, you well done.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm grateful.
You are really dressed the part. That's good.
Okay, let me see.
Wow. We're only 8 participants.
Yes. 8 participants, 4 members of the executive committee. What do you advise? Does it seem like we've made a quorum?
Because I'm sure there are more than 16 paid members of the club.
Actually, we have 22 paid members.
Exactly. So with only 8 of us here, we do not make the quorum.
From somebody who was logged out and who is coming to come in. She just called me. Victoria Shumade.
Okay, let her come in.
Network threw her out. She's struggling to return, but she quickly called to let us know that this is her challenge.
Okay. IPP, please let me go incognito and make some calls and see if I can invite 1 or 2 more people to join us.
Thank you.
So you can, why don't you try Stephen? Maybe Stephen is free now.
Good evening, distinguished Toastmaster and Charter President.
Yes,
Good
please.
evening, my great mentor and IPP. Good evening, ma.
Good evening, my DTM.
Sorry, I'm having a serious network glitches here as well.
Okay.
I was thrown out for almost 15 minutes towards the end of the meeting.
Mhm.
I'm happy that you're able to return.
Let's try and get 1 or 2 more people back in. The English doctor, are you in touch with Stephen? And you know?
Right, sir. I would communicate with him right off the bat.
Please. Of course. And we had Toastmaster Dr. Disu on call.
Confirm, sir.
Yes, she's not here right now. Maybe we can try and just get her to, you know, I both. Yeah, Shumade is back. Shumade is back. Mommy, are you able to reach Professor Disu?
I'm not, okay, I shall try now. I wasn't trying.
No, because she was here at the meeting.
Yes, the network has been a challenge to a number of people.
I'm sure she
I
can come
cannot
back.
even find Grandma Lucy. Is she in?
Exactly.
I hope she understood that she was not to stay.
I'm sure she didn't.
Let me go for her.
Yes, let
Doctor,
her
you go
come
for
back.
Prof and let me go for Grandma Lucy, please.
All right.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Trying to come back.
Yes, I announced you have been welcome. Maybe you didn't hear. They were very happy to say, oh, she's back.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Everybody is happy to see you back. And your experience is not unique. Some others are also being thrown in and out. So
thank you.
This is switched off.
Melissa, you're supposed to be on the lead the meeting. They're holding. Grandma Lucy will be in a minute. We now have 12 members. Are we good to go? Wow. Just a minute.
expecting Toastmasters Lucy, Toastmasters Abigail Okeke and Angela Lua Badaru to join. I think Toastmaster Famija has also joined us. Good evening, Toastmaster I know. Good evening, Toastmaster Victoria Shomade.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Past President Philip Obi.
Good evening, most esteemed President. Good evening, DTM Kubi.
I can see Agnes Agbo on the call. Agnes Agbo, is that our member?
Hello, my president. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, TMC.
You're welcome, President. Angela, well done.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Well done for joining. Well done for joining.
Yes, sir.
Agnes Agbo?
No, she's not. Agnes Agbo is not a Toastmaster yet.
Oh, okay. So I will please
Oh yes, she's not a Toastmaster.
Excuse
even
Agnes.
Abigail Okeke. I don't know. You know her?
Oh, she is.
Okeke.
Oh yes, Abigail Okeke.
For merit.
Yes, she's a member of Merit Toastmasters.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So I think we're about good to go now.
Okay. We have
about
a member of Merit Toastmasters, actually
Wonderful.
one of our most committed new members.
Oh,
flying
wow.
high already.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. So we effectively have about 12 participants on the call, which is to say that we have achieved a quorum.
That's a quorum, please.
Yes, please. Before I introduce the chairman of the Club Leadership Nomination Committee, I'd like to please pass a special appeal. I am moderating a Toastmasters Leadership Institute's panel session that would start about 7 p.m. So if we are not done in about 10 minutes to 7, please beg permission to excuse myself so I can join that event.
No problem.
So thank you. To anchor this business meeting, I'd like to invite the lady who is our immediate past president and also the Club Leadership Nomination Committee chairman, the distinguished club mentor, club coach, our past area director, our mommy, the distinguished Toastmaster, Monishala Ayeshimoji.
Thank you, my president. I recognize our charter president and our mentor, Rashida Salibelo, who are both charter members of this club. They are the other members of the leadership committee. Diligently, we have consulted with many and reminded many as well of our promise, which we make at all our meetings. And the motto of Merit Toastmasters that is all for one, one for all. It is time again for us to spread our wings. It's a time when we want to pass on the torch. It is a time when we want to look at a better tomorrow. It is required by Toastmasters International that at this meeting, I should announce to you those of us who are forever committed and who today are agreed despite all other considerations to consider serving us during our next tenure. Quickly, to enable us to conclude this meeting, I shall remind us that despite the fact that we have 7 nominees identified, every member of Merit Toastmasters is eligible, once you are a paid member, to nominate yourself at the election which we shall be having next week. But for the suggested nominees by the leadership team are, for the position of Sergeant at Arms, we have our Toastmaster Adinobi Gan. For the position of Treasurer, we have Professor Elizabeth Diesel. For Secretary, we have our Toastmaster Rasak Dejayi. Our Vice President membership, we have our Toastmaster Victoria Shomade. For Vice President Public Relations, we have Toastmaster Ebu Dalmelda. For our VPE, we have that lady, whom I always tell that can run the club all by herself, but who again has selflessly agreed to be nominated, Toastmaster Fumi Omotosho, and looking forward to our Vice President Education stepping forward to be the president in our next tenure. These are the names of the nominees, and I will take questions if anybody has questions before we then prepare for election next week, at our next meeting. The President.
Thank you very kindly, our Chairman of the Club Leadership Nomination Committee. I also want to thank very profusely the other members of the committee, distinguished Toastmaster Abayomi Aishimoju and distinguished Toastmaster Rashida Salibelo, for the extensive work that you have done behind the scenes to identify, consult with, and proffer these nominees to us. I want to express my pleasure at the individuals who have been nominated, because it gives me confidence, being that the people nominated are people who have displayed integrity, displayed commitment and dedication and excellence in the conduct of their activities. And I'm sure that if they stand elected to these offices, come the next meeting, they shall, of course, the club shall be in the best of hands to take it through the next Toastmasters mandate. Thank you all for coming and for witnessing. And like the immediate past president and the chairman has mentioned, the nominees does not preclude any other member in good standing who might feel that they are well positioned to serve in any of the committees from nominating themselves. So thank you all for coming. Wish everyone a pleasant night rest and look forward to completing this process at the next club meeting on the 26th of May 2022. Thank you all and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.